Stassi, the end,
Hello?
season
Yes.
4.
Already opened mine, sorry.
Let's do it.
Where would you like to start?
So, I don't know.
I wrote down quick notes. I tried. I
You
went through my
wrote
notes really
quick.
quick in the break. Just things we need to hit. Just
Okay.
the things that I had starred.
Okay. So, like we talked about before, the best
Hawkins
way,
is last.
yeah. So the
Hawkins storyline is
best way to break it up is the so
let's do the
Hawkins.
adults. Let's
Okay.
do them real quick.
Okay. The adults.
Forget explaining. Let's go. We only got so much.
Um, trying to
Number
think.
one, Joyce and Murray. I love them together. They are soul siblings, I have
They
to say.
they are a
When
hundred
she
percent.
on the plane, when she was like, your husband, and Joyce was like, no.
Also, on the plane, I did not see Murray actually kicking ass. I'm so glad that
Oh my God. When
the
he was like Jeremiah, well, he's 14 or however old he is.
I think he's at 13, but I was like,
He might have. I don't know if Jeremiah is the right name. It just sounded right.
but when they wrote it, I was like, oh no, Murray is already that goofy that they're gonna like make him a loser, but him actually kicking Yuri's ass, and Yuri was like on my.
They do look alike. Him
They
and your
they
like when
really,
they did the little switch of like, and when they're breaking into the prison,
yeah.
like the plot that we don't understand because they're getting Hopper out of prison.
Oh, I
So
mean,
a
if
fun
you,
fact is when they were shooting Stranger Things, they had already shot Black Widow,
oh,
where
okay, so
David Harbour is playing the exact same character,
literally a
a
Russian.
a Russian prison inmate. So because of the pandemic, these things were supposed to come out way before they did. But
Yeah.
Black Widow had already been shot. But Black Widow released that year, like in oh my God, what was it? Like early May,
Oh,
maybe, or
I
whenever.
literally just talked about this on
Yeah.
another
Well,
episode. Black
so
Widow
this
release
released like this season
July
released
July 9th.
okay, so this season released in May, but obviously David Harbour had already shot this. And so when they were shooting like Stranger Things, he was like, here's the thing. He was supposed to look exactly like Alexi in Black Widow, like in like overweight with the beard.
Yeah.
David Harbour was the one that was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't like do because I just had a movie come out where I look exactly like this in a Russian prison. Maybe so he lost all the weight. Like
Oh,
he
so that
lost
was
all that
his call.
that well, I mean, obviously, like they talked about it, but he
Right.
was one of the ones that was like, "Hey,
I mean
how
that
you doing?"
that it is the exact same character. That's so funny. But
It is the exact same character.
what's funny is I mean, he was so much cooler in Stranger Things. And like I loved
Oh
him
my
as
God,
the red guard.
he's
So fucking cool.
badass. Well, he's shooting Stranger Things and the Thunderbolts the same time this summer,
Oh.
so he's
Oh yeah, I
shooting
forgot.
characters back to back again.
Dang.
Which I
Hopper.
wonder how they're gonna do that. Alexi is so overweight, and like Hopper right now is like skin and bones. So I want to see, is he gonna wear like a fat suit or like
Oh my god.
CGI the stuff
They're gonna break out the fat suit from fuck, what was that movie?
from Thor
Oh yeah, that's not what
Endgame with Thor?
I was thinking. I was thinking Norbit, the Eddie Murphy movie,
Oh my
but that
gosh.
um
That were that. Anyways, yeah. So absolutely love that Joyce has fully accepted Eleven as her child. Like when they're being held captive, she's like, I have 3 kids at home.
yeah,
Warms my heart a lot, I have to
and
say. Like because I have always viewed since season 1, I have always viewed that as like her child.
really,
Because she was so sweet with her when she was in the pool looking for Will, like in the first season when they're in the little tub in the gym, and she was like, if it gets scary, like let me know, like I'll get you out of
oh
there.
my
Like
god,
she
that
has
was all
always
the
viewed
way
her
in season
like
one.
a little baby. Yeah, because they were trying to find Will.
Fuck. Yeah, no, I mean,
And so
that makes
yeah,
sense.
I absolutely love that little family dynamic, and especially like the end sequence when like obviously like the Hopper L reunion,
The
but then like
reunion was so, oh
the
my
L Joyce Like when she is just as happy to see Joyce.
They
Like, and Joyce is so fucking happy to see her.
oh my god.
Love them. That is the type of thing 11 needs, is a loving family, and she finally has one.
And it's even oh, well, I mean, I guess it would be even better because Hopper doesn't have a family at all. All he has is 11. So it's like Hopper and 11
And
got
now Joyce. We got Hopper and Joyce making out.
Joy. Will has a dad again.
Out a Russian prison. No, for real. Well, so that's another thing. Like, that family dynamic has been in the works since season 1. Like, when it's Hopper that goes.
I mean, yeah, Hopper is
out. But you know, it is like the first kind of dad, and it seems like Jonathan is almost okay with it, because obviously with Bob we saw he wasn't. Yeah. But with Hopper, it's kind of like, well, Hopper knows what's going on. Hopper's been there since day 1. Hopper was the one that went into the Upside Down and got Will. He's always kind of been the one that's there. Obviously, like, he's more focused on the girls of it all. Those are his girls.
The girls of it all.
Well, he like called them his girls. I was like, my heart. He loved them so much. Like, the whole plot of Hopper is just that he loves Joyce and Al so fucking much.
It's and, so like, funny.
He's gonna do anything to him.
It's so funny that David Harbour is playing Alexei at the same time, because he's also Joel at the same time. Like, he just loves 11. And I still haven't watched The Last of Us. I need to.
Neither have I, because I'm not actually emotionally prepared for what is to come. And I actually, like, I know exactly what happens. Didn't play the games, but I know exactly what happens in the games. And everyone that I work with is like, yeah, this next episode. And I was like, just wait till season 2.
Season 2? Just
wait.
We
can't.
Yeah, okay, yeah, never mind. That'll be next year. Yeah. Next year
when
we just
dry heaving trying to get through an episode of it. Like, that's the problem. That's why I tell people, I'm like, I can't watch it. I'm gonna dry heave the whole episode just trying to get through it.
I'm gonna send you my PlayStation and you'll have to play through The Last of Us Part 2. Oh my god. I literally wouldn't wish. I mean, I would wish that. It's such a good game. Anyways. Okay, so the adults.
Okay. So
Murray Joyce, immediately so cool.
And Murray again.
Okay, the one thing,
if people just listen to Joyce, nothing would happen. Nothing bad would ever happen.
And the one thing that pissed me off so much throughout the entire second season was that Joyce kept putting herself in these situations. Yes, and like, Joyce is a badass, but Joyce didn't have a fucking weapon the entire time. I think in the airplane she picks up a gun, but she obviously didn't know how to use it. And then it wasn't until I think it was the finale, or it might have been
like electrical. Like, it's like not the flamethrower, but the thing. Yeah.
The cattle prod. I was like, I was one of those people who was screaming at the TV. I was like, Joyce.
I love the flamethrower that Murray has.
So cool. The sword, that's literally one of my notes.
In fact, like, I have to say, well, that sword, they said it's from a different movie. I just don't remember what it is.
Conan the Barbarian.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, it's from something.
That's my fun fact.
Some nerd shit that I don't know. Yeah, I was waiting for you to get that. God damn it, what was I gonna say? The
sword of it all.
But I am gonna. Yeah, the sort of it all just really stopped me in my tracks. I don't remember what I was going to say. But you know what? While we're in the adults, so we're in the Russia storyline. Number one, having Murray know fucking Russian is literally the savior. Like,
top
Murray is the 11 of the adults. Like, he really ends up being the 11 because he is the secret superpower. Because it's all to do with the Russians. Like, they need Murray. If they didn't have Murray, we would have died in season 2.
They would have been fucked.
Well, season 3, realistically.
100%.
The mall would not. They needed Murray this whole time, and I love that Murray is still in like Indianapolis, and Joyce just like calls him and was like, "Hey, you got to come to California," and he jumps on that plane. He's like, for Joyce, anything, and then when he's making the family risotto.
Yeah,
love it,
and I love
the Murray voice, because we know it's been 8 months. This is a big thing that I have a note on, and it's in like all of my like storylines. A big thing that we get this season is time. Like
Mm-hmm.
with the season opens with Will reading like Eleven's note, right? And she says exactly how many days it's been since they've seen each other, and it was like 300 and like something, right?
Yeah, it was like over a
I don't
year.
know, 200 and something. It's not over a year. That's the main thing.
Oh,
It's not over a year. It's like
then it was.
200 and however many days.
I think it was
It's
300. God damn, this is
so
so
it's
fucking nerdy. It
it's
was like
eight
just under a
months,
year. Yeah.
right? So it has been 8 months since Hopper died. And that is something that Joyce and Hopper say together, where like he's like, I thought I lost you. And she goes, I did lose you for 8 months. Like I
Yeah.
held a funeral for you. That is another line I have with Joyce,
Second,
is I'm not holding
second
another
funeral,
funeral.
a third funeral.
No.
Holy shit.
Third. She had Will's funeral.
Bob's.
Okay, so think of this. There's never any parents for like Joyce. So I have to assume her parents are dead.
Yeah.
So she's most likely had to bury her parents.
So two
she
funerals.
had to bury her 11-year-old son,
Fuck.
who was not dead.
And
she
Bob.
had to bury Bob and Hopper. And she's not doing it again. But they say, I did lose you for 8 months. So that is something that we need to think about, because when we hear 11 saying specific days, we hear Mike and Will saying it's been a year. There is the consistencies between each character on how long it has been was throwing me for a goddamn loop. And there's a reason for that. And I'll get into that later when we get into the other groups, from what I've read on the internet. But that was just something to keep track of, that it has been 8 months since
It's
Hopper.
been 8 months.
Well, because he would have died on 4th of July. And we know, canonically, because the season starts with it, it's probably like March 27th right now.
Wait.
The season starts on March 21st.
Isn't this the one? Isn't season 4 the one that starts with Will's birthday, or is that season 3?
It's this one. And that's why we know canonically it's about March 27th right now, because it starts on the day before Will's birthday.
Gotcha. Okay.
So by this point, they've been driving all around town. So you don't just get to Russia in one day,
Okay. Also, like, crazy, like, I know it's a show and you're supposed to suspend disbelief. I was like,
I into Russia.
Yeah, when they were like, I have a business trip, I have to leave tomorrow.
To go to Alaska.
Oh, okay. Where? Alaska. Like, what the fuck?
At least they did give us the, like, we're going to Alaska, because if you're going to Alaska, it is faster to get.
They gave the flimsiest reasoning,
well,
which, like,
exactly. It's very something again about like kind of the family dynamic of it all, of her just being willing to drop everything just in case he's alive, because she cares about him so much.
Yeah.
But also in her mind, her kids are safe. This is the safest her kids have ever been.
Yeah.
All 3 of them are just having spring break. Their, best friend, boyfriend is coming to visit. Nancy was supposed to come and didn't.
I was really confused on that the whole time, because I know Nancy was mad that Jonathan didn't come, and then Jonathan was mad that Nancy didn't come. I was confused on who was supposed to go where.
So,
but I guess that was part of it.
In season 3 ended, when we get that final shot in season 3, 11 tells Mike, like, oh, you're going to come for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, my parents already gave the okay. And then you kind of get in the opening sequence that Mike isn't doing well. He's very much season 2 depressed Mike. He's in high school. He's not adjusting well, and he's failing classes. And so they clearly pushed back his Thanksgiving trip, probably to Christmas, realized he still wasn't doing too hot, and they pushed it all the way back to spring break. So It seems like they were probably supposed to visit more than once. And same thing, like Jonathan and Nancy. Realistically, though, it should be Nancy going to visit, because whose family's got money?
Yeah.
The Wheelers.
100%.
But going back to the just like the Russia storyline of it all, something that I think we need to talk about is the fucking Demogorgons in Russia.
Crazy.
Because how in the fuck did they get hundreds of little baby like Demogorgons that they're experimenting on? And no, what the fuck was that dust?
Well, because
what was that, and how did they catch it?
Didn't they have a portal open in Russia, or no?
No. The portal was from Hawkins.
So they must have like extracted it from Hawkins.
When they took Hopper's like non-deceased body back with them, they were like, slime eggs. Let's grab those.
Which was
how are you transporting a Demogorgon to Russia?
Well, not just
it had
one.
To have been like the slugs.
There was one Demogorgon, and then there was 4 or 5 dogs.
There was like Yeah, like 4 or 5 dogs. Plus, they had the ones like in the tanks.
Yeah.
But
And
main
the
thing,
fucking dust. The
what in
dust
the
too.
fuck? How did they get the dust? How
That's
did they get that? Because
because
then
what?
you see
It's just
it
behind
later on.
glass.
No, for real. It is like behind like the flimsiest like
It's in a
plexiglass I've
it's in
ever
a
seen in my
fucking
life.
tube.
That was one of my like star notes is how the fuck did they catch this dust?
Like, and then at the end, like, well, if they captured it and think the timeline. It's
Again,
been
this is the 80s. How did they get the dust on a plane and carry it to Russia?
yeah, and like if they had
Maybe there was a gate in Russia. Maybe I don't remember a gate, but like I remember because in the finale,
no, because it was in
I
I
just watched the finale yesterday. The only reason I can remember this much is Joyce saying that when they were being like, we have to go back because when
which was
Hopper
so crazy. They
called like
immediately
the
broke
agent.
out and immediately
Yeah,
broke back in.
yeah.
Like,
When Hopper called like the agent lady and it was like the girls and Hawkins fighting like major evil and Joyce's kids are with her, which
mhm.
they weren't, but go off. Um, like all of this stuff, where it's like, okay, we're gonna go back, we're not gonna make it in time, we're gonna break back in, we're gonna fight the Demogorgon because it's a hive mind. And they're saying that these things are alive because there's a gate open in Hawkins, which there's 3 gates open in Hawkins at this point. So
Mhm.
like it makes sense that it would be the Hawkins gates that like activated all of this stuff, maybe. But they've also been saying that they've for months had this Demogorgon like feasting on like people.
Yeah.
Like so
So
I don't
I think it's what you said. I think from the basement of the I mean, because you got to think about it. The
they blew up the mall.
well, the mall, but the mall again was
Keep.
8 months
Keep
ago.
didn't close all the way.
But there's no way that mall was put up in a month. So like that underground facility had to be there months
And
before.
yeah, but like when the gate is closed, the hive mind shuts off. So the Demogorgons wouldn't have been what they
But so I'm saying
unless they were already out. I don't know how this works.
that's what I'm saying. They probably grabbed it like sometime in season 2.
Because
Just
was the gate oh because the gate never fully closed in season 2 when the
yeah.
dogs were out because it wasn't healed. Okay.
Yeah, Russia let the dogs out.
So maybe it's kind of the same thing. Like that underground gate is closed, but it's still weak. And so the gate is still kind of open. And then Vecna was like, Oop.
Yeah, literally just like
No, because that's literally all he had to do.
so
Okay.
okay. So
That's kind of my adult storyline, was
the
just the
the
Russia
last
of it.
the last thing I'm going to say,
Yeah.
last 2 things. One, loved the puffer jackets that
Oh my, you could have bought those and they were like thousands of dollars.
I'm sure they were so
Yeah, they
cool.
sold them on the Netflix shop.
Oh, I hate that. But I did love it.
I love the matching suits.
And the whole Hopper fighting the Demogorgon was the coolest
I
thing.
watched
I wanted to watch.
took an arm off. Dude, I kept watching and I was like, that bitch is tall. Like that Demogorgon was fucking tall.
Yeah, because
I was like, that bitch is 7 feet tall, just walking around.
yeah, because Hopper's the tallest out of all of them, and what he's probably like 6'2", whatever. And that thing was like a good 1.5 feet taller.
I do have one more thing to say about Hopper.
Yes.
We've kind of been leading up to this since season 1, like the back talk of Sarah. And never forget that he also had a daughter named Sarah, and then he gained a daughter named Elle. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
The Hopper and Joel of it all.
No, for real. But we kind of knew that he went to Vietnam. Like we knew that. But the fact that he was hand mixing these chemicals as like a 18-year-old, and then that's how his daughter gets cancer. And he doesn't believe that he's worth anything, and that he knew the risk getting pregnant.
That what happened?
Yeah, he talks. He's with Dimitri. Is his name Dimitri?
I think so.
The other guy, the guy that we end up, he's coming back to the U.S. We're just bringing back some Russians with us. But he says to Dimitri, because Dimitri's talking about his son and how his son's not going to think he's anything because he's a traitor. And he's talking about Elle and Joyce, but he's mainly talking about like how he fucked up as a teenager, didn't think anything of it, and was hand mixing like Agent Orange or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do remember that.
When he came back, everyone tried to start their lives, and all their kids were born with like tumors or stillborn or like whatever, but he had a perfectly healthy daughter until she was like 6.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's like he has blamed himself his whole adult life for everything that's ever gone wrong. And now all this stuff is happening. So of course all these characters are fucking depressed.
Yeah. I
Like
loved
they have got far too much going on.
yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
Now, switching gears from people who had a lot going on to people who didn't have a lot going on, the California crew.
Okay. Cool. I have a lot on this one, so I'm so sorry.
Okay, wait.
Okay,
So
number one,
so then,
11
well,
and Will of it all. I love them so much. I stand by it. It is not my favorite thing the show has ever done, but it is one of the best things these fucking writers have ever done was make those two siblings.
oh,
I
okay.
stand by it. I love them so much as a little pairing. They're so alike in like, if you think about it, like their characterization, they're very similar.
Yeah.
They look alike, like, and the
They-
fact that Millie and Noah are like actual best friends in real life is just like they play it so well. Like, oh my god. When they're walking through the high school, number one, I do have to say, like, the writers were afraid to write them being good in California. I wanted it California. Like, it's like they made the decision. I know we didn't talk about them moving to California at all in season 3.
That's okay.
They made this
Power
decision
through.
to move them to California, and then they didn't give us shit in it. They
Yeah.
gave us an episode and a half.
Nothing.
Like, I wanted to see them in California. I wanted to see it. I needed to see it. I
And
didn't get to see it.
the okay. Also, whoa. A huge part of my notes, which I literally like, I was losing my mind watching the episode with the whole skating rink thing.
Yeah, okay, that's
That would have taken. First off, who the fuck is letting that happen? Like,
okay.
who is letting that happen? And
Backtracking.
that takes so much coordination.
Oh my god, yes.
Literally,
Well-
like they would have had to get everybody in there and the DJ to be like, "Hey, we're gonna fucking ruin this
It's like
girl's
those
life."
damn flash mobs. Like, how do they do it?
Fucking
But
insane.
yeah, so love them. Obviously, 11 being bullied. If I'm just gonna say it, if Max was there, it never would have happened. Never would
No.
have happened.
Not at all.
They wouldn't have happened. But Will has spent his whole life being bullied, so he doesn't know how to stand up to being bullied. So of course he's not standing up for 11. But we also get the sense that obviously 11 is not fitting in there, which completely makes sense considering she was raised in a lab her whole life and then spent a year in isolation. So how the fuck would she be doing good? Joyce, what
And
was
then
the
she
thought?
and then
What
she
was
went
the
from
thought,
a
Joyce?
and then she went from a small town in Indiana
To
with like
smaller, like a bigger small town in California, but
like that school that
completely different people. That school is huge.
the school was huge. Like the first her when they all smashed her diorama, there was
Yeah.
like 100
her
kids.
diorama. Oh, her diorama.
The diorama
And
was
okay,
so
I don't know
sad.
if you noticed, but Will's project was on Alan Turning. Gay
Mm-mm.
man, gay computer.
Gay
So
computer man.
He is a gay computer man who like got like fucking thrown out for being gay.
No,
And so,
I didn't
like,
notice.
Here's the thing with Will is, and I'm going to talk about this because I must. You know, I love Will.
Of course.
It's like, okay, so he has had so much going on since this show started, right?
Yeah.
He finally gets to California and he does grow into himself. He's much sassier, which we've seen Will be like a little sassy, you know, love that
Yeah.
for him. But like, he doesn't have any of his friends. He just has his sister. We know that Jonathan's
Who's getting
kind of
bullied
been
the fuck out.
Jonathan's pretty much been ignoring them. He's, you know, he's getting high the whole time. So he's not being the brother that Will knows
Yeah.
that is always taking care of him.
So Will
so like
is
11's
alone,
being
alone.
bullied and is trying to fit in, but she's still got communication with Mike, who is like kind of, you know, except they're lying to each other, but whatever.
Yeah.
But like, so she's still got that connection. Obviously, her and Will are very close. You can just tell by how they're acting this whole, you know,
Mhm.
first episode. But like, Will is doing well for himself in California. Like, he's clearly not the one being bullied. He's not, you know, he's getting bitches, as we stated off air. He's getting like everyone is, you
Yeah.
know, flirting with him.
Yes. Season
Like,
opens with
but he's comfortable with himself because he's putting himself out there. He's doing this project on a gay man. Like,
Yeah.
we know that's why he picked this character or this, you know, this person to do this project on. Like that, he's growing into himself, and it's so sweet. I love Will, and I
Yeah.
think him and 11 as siblings is such a good decision. I love it so much. What I didn't love was the bullying, because that actually made me like pretty sick to my stomach, because she's like a 14-year-old girl
It
who
was
I'm just gonna say
horrible.
it, that scene where she's getting in the diorama where she throws out her arm to use her powers.
Yeah.
We should have seen the rollerblade coming because that's exactly what she's kind of done. That's how she's always fixed her problems was her powers. And if she would have had her powers in that scene,
She
she would
would
have
have
blew Angela's head off.
she would have she
It's
would have
a
decapitated a
so
girl
it's
at
kind of the
school.
same thing that I said in like
Fuck.
season 2 when she like threw Max. Like she hasn't really learned the difference between using her powers on like a Russian bad guy and a bully from high school. Like, girly, you can't do this. I
Which
love
is
you
so
so much. I love you so much, 11. But you like I rooted for you when you did that. I won't lie. I loved it, but you can't do this in
which
real life.
which is wild because like going back to season 1, the comic that Dustin uh
Yeah.
says is
Yeah.
they talk about the Hellfire Club, and the Hellfire
Yeah.
Club gets brought up again in season 4, but like the whole thing was that like in the comics that was like them brainwashing Jean Grey or
Mhm.
11, and that's where I was interested to see where this season was going to go, because it's like, is she going to get brainwashed, or and then it goes into the, I mean, it they wound up not brainwashing her, but her going on her whole fucking
Her little journey.
Luke Skywalker and Yoda session.
Mhm.
I don't watch Star Wars enough to know what movie that is, but
I've never seen Star Wars. Anyways, so we do open the season the day before Will's canonical birthday.
yes.
That okay, so that's like it's a very specific. I wrote it in my notes multiple times. There's no fucking way the Duffers are telling the truth to me at all, where they say they haven't watched season 2 before
To you
filming this.
specifically.
To me specifically, there's absolutely no way, because one of my other like notes was the groupings in this season match the season 2 groupings. You
Really?
get Mike and Will kind of segregated by themselves. You get 11 going off on her own little journey to like find herself, her
Yeah.
powers. You get the grouping of Dustin, Lucas, Max, and Steve. And specifically, Lucas and Max are kind of in their own little grouping there. And then you
Yeah.
get Joyce saving Hop. Like it is the exact same storyline,
Is
but
that
different.
is that what you wanted to tell me?
No, not
Oh.
at all. That was just something that I needed to share. But them also saying that they didn't plan this for the birthday, that they're saying, oh, it'd be too sad that we like forgot his birthday. Like they've
Do they ever mention it throughout the season? Like, does Will mention that
no. So
his
there's
birthday?
there's a lot of like theories about it, and like I won't get into those because it'd be for like a season 5 theory,
Yeah.
and we would never finish.
And
there's
we're
a
barely
lot-
gonna make it through this.
No, we're like not doing it. But they like even when they go to see Susie, like they mention Dustin's birthday, which she has the math for, and she's like, it's 35, whatever days away, whatever it is. So first of all, Will being older than Dustin, wild. Second of all,
Because Will looking like Will
baby.
still looking like a child.
Will's glow up. Because Noah is finally, well, he's 17 in this.
Season
He's the youngest one
season
of all the kids.
4's bowl cut was the best.
Oh my god, I love his season 4 bowl cut. It's so adorable.
It's
and
not.
it is a win.
It is not the worst one.
Oh my god, it's
Oh,
so
now I can
funny.
look it up. Yeah.
But like
No.
the birthday of it all, because we know just from watching this show that Will's birthday is the day that Mike flies in. When they go to the roller rink, and in
So
the background
sad.
there's birthday parties happening. So it's like they specifically wanted us to like catch that they didn't remember his birthday. That's what I'm going for. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think something's happening with this. I believe in birthday gate.
Birthday gate, not birthday gate.
Yes.
This-
Why is every picture on the side the exact same? Yeah, everyone's seen this photo, dude.
I love it. I love this is the
Poor
first.
child.
That's the first time I've seen it.
Really?
Oh my god, yeah. I'm watching the show. I'm not Google. I'm not googling Noah Schnapp's
Oh, I just have the
hair,
internet.
except
I
right
just have
now.
the internet, so I don't know. I see these things, but yeah, no. There's just too many things with the birthday that like
Birthday gate.
why mention it? So
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I don't know, something about the birthday of it all, but yeah. So their whole storyline is the roller skate happens.
The
Mike is really channeling his inner Ted Wheeler in that scene with the "What did you do?" So Mike is a parallel to Brenner. They like
yes.
multiple times show Mike and Brenner doing the exact same thing in the same scene.
And I thought it was interesting the very first time, like when Elle throws Lucas, he says the exact same thing. He's like, "What did you do?
What did you
What
do?"
did you do?" And it's like he says it like
Which we'll get, like when we get to the 11 storyline and we get to the piggyback of it all. We got some like comments in there.
what it was.
But Mike is just he's being his first of all, homeboy's in love with Eddie Munson because he is copying his style completely. He's
Really?
growing out his hair like Eddie.
Oh yeah.
He's dressing like Eddie. He's got a guitar in his room like Eddie. But like we see that first of all, his outfit at the airport,
Crazy. Loved it.
so here's the thing. It wasn't that crazy when he took the visor off, but with the visor, I'd love to imagine that Max was like, this is what you should wear to California.
I
Because
100%.
Max is from California. I just hope that she was like, hey,
I loved Will's vibe, or not Will's, Mike's. I loved Mike's vibe, and I switching semi. I loved Argyle.
Okay, that was actually my next thing was like Argyle.
Argyle was my favorite character.
I love Argyle. So you know how like when shows come out, they produce like all the merch beforehand.
Yeah.
So there was a ton of Argyle stuff because he was projected to be the fan favorite of the season. He was not. It was Eddie Munson. And people like the people who did like the merch and stuff were fucking shocked because Eddie was not written to be clearly the fan favorite, as we know how he ends, but Argyle was. And so when the show came out and Argyle like wasn't the fan favorite, there's so much Surfer Boy pizza merch. Like you can get like fucking phone cases and pop sockets and all this stuff. Oh my
God.
There's very little for Eddie because he wasn't supposed to be what he became. And Eddie became something fucking crazy on the internet.
And I remember seeing it as it was all coming out. Like I remember seeing this season like just by proxy, like by being on the internet. And I remember seeing Eddie, and I thought it was wild because I thought he was such a bigger part of it. And now
he's very in it.
Yeah,
he's like 40 minutes of the whole show.
Yeah,
and
like
that's
he's
like that's like a 12-hour season.
Yeah.
He's like 40 because somebody did that and it was like here's like
somebody did the math.
Yeah, people do that for every season, but somebody did it for Eddie and I think it was like 44 minutes and I even was like, oh shit, like I also thought he had a bigger part because he became such a big character.
Yeah.
But I loved Argyle. I think he is fucking hilarious. Eduardo did such a good job. Actually, he was recommended by Finn. Finn is the one that said, hey, I think you should put this guy in here.
Really?
Eduardo has like straight up been like, yeah, it was Finn who like mentioned me.
First off, pineapple does belong on pizza.
Big fan.
My favorite, I love the whole interaction, and I saw something that like the other surfer boy pizza guy, his name was Argyle too in the credits.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And so I loved their interaction, but
he's so smart too. Like
he like yeah, I loved, and it was so much to say, so little time. Because
I told you this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, because
this is at least 3 episodes. Like I'm sorry, it's gonna at least be 3 because we have to talk about 11. Like
oh my gosh. Okay, well
like this storyline.
Argyle. All I was gonna say, Argyle making a pizza as the world is ending.
Oh my god, ending, yeah.
Is everything that I didn't know. This
is your Joker.
Yes, he is my. I finally felt seen in the media.
You finally get the meme. I absolutely love him and Jonathan. Like, even when Jonathan is high out of his mind, is like, "Can you pass the olive oil?" And he's like, "That's wine." I just know that Argyle has been in that house more times than like Will has. Like Argyle is living there.
Well, the other thing that like tripped me out about Argyle was when they called him to just go, he just left.
He does it.
Like
Yeah,
he
he does
was,
it.
he's 100% ride or die. But like,
Well,
no,
he ends up in Hawkins. Like
yeah,
we are led to believe that Argyle is in season 5 as like a regular character, which means what the fuck is up with his family? Like, well, he
literally,
even said so. Like Jonathan has like, let's think of this. Jonathan has never really had a friend.
yeah,
Like his best friend was Will. The only friend he had was Nancy, who ended up being his girlfriend.
yeah.
He doesn't have friends. So his only friend that like he has had is Argyle, and Argyle is just like, you're my only friend, Jonathan. Like, who would I like do like they're so sweet. Like I love them.
Who else would I tee off
A
in
junkyard,
a junkyard with?
like season 2, just saying. And bury a dead body with.
Fucking insane. Like,
well, while we're here, we need to talk about the pining looks between Mike and Will in that burying a dead body scene. Because what was that? What was that? Please tell me, what was that? Every time I see that scene, I'm like, I can't watch.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's too much. I physically have a reaction. I'm like, oh my God, this poor situation.
See,
because what was that?
See, I wasn't even focused on that. I was more so focused on, I can't believe that Argyle just got up and dipped. Like, again, no mention of his. I think it's so fun, especially like, you know, Nancy and Murray, like even just giving like such a thinly veiled excuse to be like, oh, we have to go to Alaska. Like they are the only like Joyce and Hopper are the only parents who
where
interact with who kind of know where these kids are at.
When we get to Hawkins, I got a whole thing about the Sinclairs.
I have notes about the parents because
the parents, yeah. But
it took 4 seasons for them to finally look for their fucking
all in the
kids.
scene together. Oh my God. Anyways, California. So Jonathan is barely in this season, and that is because Charlie Heaton got caught at the airport with some drugs, and they were going to write him.
Charlie Heaton.
Yeah, they were gonna write him out of the show apparently, and they didn't end up doing that. But you know, he was like, he's such a chill guy. Like I love Charlie Heaton. But supposedly that's why he got written out a little bit of the show, was because he was caught with some heavier drugs. I know that man is a cokehead. Like I don't know that, and this is, you know, allegedly. Allegedly. I would never say anything bad about you. But I've heard that's what happened. But you know, his storyline kind of is just to drive the car.
Yeah, he's the driver.
Blair and Mike Wheeler, like he's gonna make his head explode. Like,
and to have the one with Will in the.
So that was like kind of a coming out scene, but really not a coming out scene.
Also,
but, like, it is a coming out scene in the way that, like, as an audience, you know that is Jonathan telling Will, I know you're gay and it is okay. And that I will love you no matter what. But it is not explicitly, I know you're gay.
Yeah.
But
also,
it is,
very
I know you're gay.
so unrealistic that they would be in a pizza shop that late at night and nobody would come in.
Nobody called.
0% chance that there's no way. Yeah, what time was it? No, whatever.
But yeah, so they're okay. So let's.
Okay, wait. We have a minute.
California.
Final thoughts on California.
I have way more than final thoughts.
We're wrapping up California because we have to talk the Hawkins crew and 11.
We're doing 2 more episodes. 1 more on Hawkins, 1 more on 11 in California. I refuse to be shut down on this. I refuse.
Okay.
You knew what you were getting into.
Well, with that being said, before it kicks us out, we'll be. Oh, I don't even think I introduced the show. Whatever. This is Missing the Homies.
This is the 90th episode. It's fine.
Literally, this is the most I have done on any episode.
We have brain cells. So sorry.
Jesus. Okay, we'll be back. This is a meaty show.
It's a lot. I don't know why you thought we would be able to do this quick.
I was hopeful.
Anyways. I'm getting into it so you don't cut me the fuck off. I'm sorry, but what the fuck was Mike and Will's storyline this season to you?
To me, so I mean, trying to be.
Do you see it?
I see it. Yeah, I mean, I texted
you. Do you see what I see?
I texted you. I saw it, and this is your favorite season for Mike and Will. I have to
It's
assume.
not at all. It's actually not at all.
Really?
No, not one bit. Because he's going through things, and Mike is a bit of an ass, and he
Well,
says some things. He's trying to redeem himself,
well,
but
let me tell you
I
when I going into this, and I've told you I don't know how many times, but the whole like meme I was so looking
yeah,
forward to, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so
heartbreaking.
funny. Horrible. It
Horrible. Well, keep
was,
in mind one more time, Noah Schnapp was closeted at the time.
and it was so
It's even worse
tough. Like it was.
because the way
Noah
that
Schnapp
Will
is such a good actor.
he's such a good actor.
Such
He
a
put
great
so much.
actor.
He's one of my standouts for this season in acting. I've
Hmm.
got 4, and he is one of them. I think you could probably guess my other 3, to be honest. But
Max, Lucas,
L.
L. Yeah, I was gonna say L, but I was like, did anybody
Those
have
are my top. Like, yeah, they're just. It is insane. Like what Noah is putting onto the screen, and then knowing underneath it all that he is in the closet himself is just like, I cannot believe that this is a 17-year-old child who is doing this. This
Right.
poor child who's portraying he'd be 15. Because, if we're following his birthday, he would have turned 15 that day.
Oh my
But we
God,
start with that airport scene between Mike and Will, and we know that Mike can hug his other friends. We see him hug Dustin the night before, and he can't hug Will. And they've talked about how they've spoken. They have the fight in the roller rink where, first of all, Will read him to Phil. You clearly don't want anything to do with me. I've been a total third wheel. You don't want to talk to me that much is obvious.
Will fucking lit his ass up.
Will said, I've been in California. I am not hiding behind you anymore. I need to yell at you. Because Will, we only ever see him fight with Mike. Like, we don't see him yell at his other friends.
I mean, he yelled at Luke. That was more
he yelled
Lucas
at Lucas,
and Mike.
but it was like Mike was the instigator. Like,
yeah, and then him and Dustin are just cool.
There's nothing wrong with Dustin. Like they love each other so much. We see that in the end scene.
Dustin is the best.
The roller rink fight, which immediately leads into 11's is like getting taken. The scene where they want to be like Mike goes back in and says like, I want to be best friends again, and it's enough. It's just like the tiniest bit of crumbs of like, yes, I still want to be your friend, cool, all that bullshit, to which like he grabs the painting again, the painting that was such pining that 11 clocked him for having a crush, although she thinks it's on a girl. And we again, something about the letters between Mike and 11 is that Mike is going into this with, he doesn't have any letters from Will. They have barely spoken. And like, yeah, in Will's mind, it's like, well, why didn't Mike call me? And I'm guessing in Mike's mind, knowing Mike as a character, he's, oh my God, no.
Hello,
Beckett. At least this is the way I'm viewing it. My mind is Mike doesn't know what the fuck is going on with his friendships. I think he's very lost. He himself says that Hawkins isn't the same without Will.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we know I ship it. I do. I have to say. But like, even so, as a friendship, this is his best friend since he was 5.
Yeah.
He clearly hasn't had his best friend that I'm sure he thought he was going to go to high school with. I'm sure they had plans to, be best friends. And it's like, okay, he doesn't have that. He's still, he's not himself. Like everyone talks about how Mike is not himself in the beginning of the season.
And so you think that's
even
more...
his friendships with like are like, all of his friendships are like fucked up right now. But he's saying, oh my God, even he is saying that like the reason everything's like weird, he says it's because Will's not there.
When does
those are Mike's?
Does he say that when they're in the roller rink?
No, he says that when they're like making up.
Oh, in the car, right?
No, in the bedroom before the house gets shot up.
Oh yeah, right, right before. That's the thing. It goes into a fucking Call of Duty game.
Shoot, which how the fuck none of them got shot? I don't understand.
So stupid. but
there's no way that none of them didn't get shot, but whatever.
not
But
even
like there's so
grazed.
many Mike and Will like little moments. Their whole storyline this season, yes, it is to go and save 11. But
Yeah.
realistically, their storyline this season is to repair their relationship. Whether it
Yeah.
be friendship or my god, I'm eating a cat hair. Like ear. But like it is straight up their whole storyline was to like you're telling me that the
Rebuild that
season four
friendship.
storyline was to segregate Will and Mike back together like it was in season two, just to focus on their relationship that they broke in season three. And there again,
Fair.
what I was saying about time, they're screaming at each other. It's been a year. It has been a year. We know from every other relationship, Mike knows it hasn't been a year. Mike
Yeah.
knows exactly how many days it's been since he talked to Will. Joyce knows that it's 8 months. Like we know exactly it's been
It's
6 months
been
realistically because they moved in October. So it's been like 5 months since they've seen each other. Which
wow.
also the fact that they moved in October, like weird because like, you know, the school year would have been going on for a month, but whatever. Like
They
I
said
have a
fuck
lot
it.
of thoughts on that
They
one.
said fuck it.
But
We got to
like,
get out of here
the
now.
whole storyline of the California crew is kind of Mike and Will repairing their relationship, only for Will to be self-sacrificial and put what he thinks Mike wants in front of what Will wants with the painting. The painting
Yeah.
is a big thing. Like that scene, like you even talked about it. You were so excited. That scene is awful.
It was
I've
was
heard they took
tough.
over a full day to shoot that scene. Like that scene, all of their scenes were very, very specific from what the
Mhm.
writers have come out and said, and people who have come out and said who like shot the show, that the Mike and Will stuff was very, very specific. They took hours to shoot all the scenes in the vans. Like it tells me something. Like if you're looking at it from a TV show point of view, all of the
Yeah.
shots of Mike and Will are bathed in light. They're shot so beautifully. And then you get the Mike and 11 shots where they're in the dark.
I get
They're shot.
I
It's
get what
just
you're
very
saying.
like
This
what
this
are they
season
doing?
it's
If
very
here's
much
the thing. If
coming
Mike
off
and
of
Will don't end up in a good relationship, like not necessarily like a relationship, but if
platonic,
they're pointing it. No, I'm gonna say it. If they don't end up like together, like
romantic.
I'm gonna be honest, the writing is bad because the writing is pushing them together. The way that things are shot is pushing them together. The
See,
way
now,
that Mike and 11 have been written for the last two seasons
yeah.
is completely showing why they don't work.
Yeah.
In that
See, now I
scene,
want to go back and watch all of the see, I need like a YouTube supercut of
yeah,
all of the scenes of Mike and Will together
dude, just go
because
on TikTok and look up their ship name. It's got like 3 billion views.
Will and Mike
It's
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 Mill
Byler.
Violet.
Yeah.
Gross.
Byers and Wheeler. But which I guess could be Jonathan and Nancy's ship name too.
Yeah.
It's not, but okay. That was I had to get my piece out there because I'm sorry, even the last scene when they're back in Hawkins. First of all, there's the scene where they're on the couch and Eleven's in her room and it's right before Hopper comes back. First of all, Mike is gripping the fuck out of Will's arm. Straight up gripping. He's holding like his hand is like 3 inches deep into Will's skin. But like Will, so that was set on it was shot on a soundstage. So all the lighting is super deliberate.
Yeah.
Will is basked in light. Like he is basking in the light. Like Homeboy is so like a lot of times because as the show has progressed, obviously you get like all the roller ring stuff. That is like shot from Will's perspective. A lot of this season we get from Will's perspective, right?
Yeah. Well,
so
I mean, I feel like the whole California stuff is for the most part from Will's perspective.
Yeah. And a lot of times throughout like the last like few seasons, we've been getting a lot from Will's perspective, whereas in season 1 we got a lot from Mike because Will obviously wasn't there. But
Will
a lot
was
of people have been saying like they just want Mike's perspective again, and a lot of things have said, "Oh, that last scene was shot from Mike's perspective, with Will being in the light." Don't know if it's true. This is just what fans have said, and I am on Twitter, so I can read these things.
See, I need to go back and watch the finale.
I only watched it last night, so I have a lot of thoughts on it. But
yeah,
it's
very fresh.
the whole painting. Number one, that painting has that dragon.
Yeah, 3
And
heads, right?
question, do we think that's what's the monster Nancy saw? Nancy saw a monster coming from the upside down with a big gaping mouth in her vision with Vecna. So a lot of
Ooh.
people think that that could be because remember, like Will drew like the mind flayer, and like then we got the mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but then we've got
That would
the
be
whole
fucking that would be
crazy.
crazy
Well,
because
plus someone said in like that that's what a Thessal Hydra is, and that's how they ended the campaign in season one was a Thessal Hydra, and then Will drew the
oh,
three-headed dragon thing. So I wonder if that's
that's
like our season five, like
crazy.
if that's like the big bad that Vecna's hiding is like this. I don't know, but
Because I was wondering, I mean, I've told you a bunch of times, like I mean, I watched the first 2 seasons and then fell off, but
yeah,
like every season's big bad has gotten so much
bigger.
bigger, scarier, more like disgusting. And like I thought the blob in season 3 was like the worst of it, but like
Which again, remember that that is what possessed Will in flesh and bone.
yeah,
Like that is like
because
the
that's the dust, right?
it so it starts to like in Vecna's flashback, we see him like touch dust, and
Yeah,
that becomes the mind flayer, which he saw as a child.
yeah.
Like he threw the mind flayer, and then it possessed Will as like a shadow monster. So I assume he's the dust. So is the dust in Russia also the mind flayer?
I think it's a part of it. Yeah,
How big is the mind flayer?
it's. I mean,
Huge.
from that shot of when we saw Vecna, which that episode, like Vecna's episode,
Seven.
episode 7 was for me
Crazy.
insane. Like,
Will say when I watched the show, it was right after, and this is gonna sound really bad, but it was right after a school shooting. I
oh
think it was
god,
the Michigan one. I think it was the one that happened here.
like
I could be wrong.
recently, like the
Like 2 years ago. Well,
oh,
it was high school.
there's
Okay, so that's the thing.
that's so fucked up. There's
Unfortunately,
too
there's
many.
so many of them. But when
Yeah.
I watched this season for the first time, it was right after a like big school shooting, and how the season starts with like the preview to episode 7 of 11 in the lab with all the kids dead. That
Hmm.
they're leading you to think that 11 did it, but it was Vecna
Which
obviously. When
was
I first watched that, there was a like warning, like a trigger warning on Netflix
oh
on the first
shit.
episode, every episode being like, we shot this scene, we don't want to be
Before.
disrespectful,
Yeah.
but due to recent events, we feel the need to put a trigger warning because it's a bunch of dead children.
Oh
And it
my
was right
god.
after like a bunch of kids just died in like another school shooting, which they happen every fucking day in this fucking universe.
Yeah.
In this, but so like that, and when I watched it just now, it's not there anymore. Like that trigger warning is not there anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean I just watched it like less than a month ago and I didn't see it.
Yeah, because I rewatched it with you, but like it wasn't there anymore. So I was like, oh, even the second time that I watched it, when I, rewatched it after, not being high on drugs after surgery, it
Yeah.
wasn't there anymore. But when I watched it the first time, there was a trigger warning on season 4
Hmm.
because kids are dying,
Yeah. Which
which I thought was great.
that whole thing that whole Vecna's like backstory
He's
and
taking these kids and like, because I figured we'd jump into Elle here. So her whole
yeah,
storyline is she gets, she does the rollerblade thing. She gets taken by the government, which
the
I'm so
roller
sorry.
skate thing
The
was
government
was
this.
crazy.
Oh, the roller skate is insane, and it's so heartbreaking because she's just trying so hard to be normal. And this is where I get into my hatred for the Mike and Elle relationship really quick. Mike is exactly everything
Really
11
quick.
doesn't need. Just really quick. I can go on for days, but like all she wants is to be loved. Like we know
Yeah.
that. We've seen it since season 2 when she was watching all the TV shows. She just wants to see the love that she saw on TV, and she's not getting it from Mike. And even it like Mike, I genuinely think Mike loves her. I do. I don't think he's in love with her
But
because he doesn't know
he's a
her.
kid. He doesn't know how to
She
do
just
it.
spent
Yeah.
8 months. Exactly, they're kids, but she just spent 8 months becoming like Jane. she's gone as Jane. She's doing all this stuff, and Mike only sees her as like the superhero that he found in the woods.
Yeah.
And like she doesn't need that. What she gets with like the Hopper like buyer family situation, that is what she needs.
Yeah, they
she
treat her
family.
like
they
a
treat
kid.
her, they love her for who she is, which when we get into the Mike piggyback of it,
yeah,
he's that's bullshit, because he doesn't love her that way. I think he loves her for what he knows her as, but he doesn't know who she is anymore.
Well, being
everything he's learned about her for the last 8 months was a lie.
Well, put myself in Mike's prepubescent
child.
Like he put her on a pedestal, and like,
oh yeah.
I mean, it's he like you said, he's a fucking kid. Like it makes sense.
They're kids.
And oh man, you saying the whole like
he
11
wants
just
to
wanting
her.
to be normal.
Yeah,
she really just needed Max. She needed Max.
She needed Max, and that's one of my biggest notes is Max 11, which
the Max at 11 of it all.
She's going, and also I'm sorry, but her having to see Brenner again, like she did not deserve that. I was so glad. I think he actually died this time for reals.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I never want to hear Papa come out of anyone's mouth again, because that was gross and I didn't like it at all. And like, Vecna, like Henry, whatever, he went by Peter at that point.
No,
like
Henry Vecna.
When he was the when he was like in the lab, like being like the person in like helping.
I think he was just
Peter.
I thought he was Henry.
I think he was Peter. I thought he was Peter.
Oh, I don't know. But that was also crazy that 11 ripped
Jamie.
out.
He was Jamie.
That
also, just so you know, when he's Vecna, like that is Jamie in there.
Oh, I know.
That is a suit. That's not like CGI. That is like visual effects.
That's all practical, baby.
And you can see his eyes through it. But something I did want to say about like when he's like in the lab, when he's the lab worker, he looked a lot at season 3, like he said in interviews, and he watched how like Dacre walked around when he was possessed, and he followed so that he's walking the same way that like Billy did. So that he's got the same mannerisms, because Billy would have been under him, like he was possessed by him.
Yeah.
So it was like, I just thought that was a cool little thing that he's also come out and said, like when he was getting into character to be Vecna, he made this like mind map where he put Will Byers in the middle, and then he put Joyce and 11, and then he put the rest of everything around it, and was like, this is what I'm focusing on.
Interesting. Which, I mean, once again, because Joyce hashtag believe Joyce. Joyce has figured everything out.
For real. And 11, because 11, we know, has been trumping him since she was like a 6-year-old little girl.
Which was in
she's a baby in that first. Also, like I totally understand why they did like the flashbacks the way they did with 11 and it being like Millie. But I'm so sorry, but Millie is like, she's like 18. Like I was a little like not into it. I would have like preferred when they're doing like the flashback for like 11 is in the scenes, but then it would cut and it would show like little her.
Oh, okay.
I almost preferred it. Like I know why they didn't do it, because they have to give like Millie, like it's her show.
Yeah.
But like I didn't really love it, because like Millie's an adult and it just felt really gross to me. Like it's supposed to feel gross, but it felt really gross to me to see like Millie as an adult pretending to be like what she was in season 1. I don't know. It just like I didn't love it.
It made sense to me because
it made sense. I just didn't visually love it.
The whole Nina was very much a mix between sensory deprivation tank and the Animus from the Assassin's Creed franchise. So she was like reliving her memories. So it made sense that she was.
No, I totally get why they did it and how they shot it that way. But like as a person watching it, just being like, I think just because like as a female, like it just felt like she was being objectified. And I know that's not what they're trying to do. Yeah. But that's just how it came off to me. And I was like, I don't love it. And it's like, I don't know if it's worse if she's like the little child, because when it does flash to her as like a child, it's like, oh my God, she was a fucking baby. And like, obviously they like CGI'd Millie's face onto like the little girl. but it was just like, I don't know, it was crazy. Like, and
The
she
whole
forgets all of that because she did the same thing that Henry did when he was like taking the lives. Like, she overdid her powers and then she doesn't even remember any of this. Like,
it,
crazy. And
I,
also, like, justice for Owens. Is he alive?
Owens, I think, is alive just because he's got to make it,
I
but
need. I
but
love him.
the whole
Oh shit!
oh,
There's a.
Owens confused me because I don't know. I feel like I've been watching too many
I'm
movies and TV shows because
gonna
from
be
the
on the book for a second.
you got a what?
There's a box on my porch, so I will be moving, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
raining.
Um, but like from the minute we met Owens, I was like, I don't know that I trust him, and
Yes.
I I don't know. I trust him now, but
I'm listening.
but the whole Brenner 11 leaving Brenner to die
Loved it.
was so sick.
Yeah.
It was just like Arya Stark leaving the Hound in Game of Thrones. Oh, you didn't watch Game of Thrones. You watched House of the Dragon. But there's a scene almost exactly like that, and it was so well. Actually, I hope it's not exactly like that because he wound up not dying in Game of Thrones.
Who didn't die? Sorry.
The Hound.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought you said, but I was outside.
Yeah, no, you're good.
It
Oh wait.
was so wet out there,
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
and the
I
box
finally
was fully outside.
oh my god. I finally see the sky here.
I am wet.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Okay, so
I'm back.
um
The trauma that this poor child has had to go through every single season. I did appreciate that, like when she's wearing that dress, which was the ugliest fucking dress I've ever seen in my life, you
at the
could
very
see the
beginning.
scar on her leg. Yeah, you could see the scar from the mind flayer on her leg. So I love the little details they remember to add, which makes me,
Oh.
again, I have to believe that Will has that fucking branding scar on his side.
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, from the
From
hot
Nancy.
fucking
But yeah, just everything that this poor child has like truly, like the people that she found, like Mike and Dustin and like Hopper and Lucas, like they're the ones that really took her in. Like they
yeah.
really are, because like you can see as a child every single person that she kind of met like just was using the shit out of her. And I'm so glad that she grew and she was like, I'm not gonna go back, because like it's really like Stockholm fucking syndrome with like Papa. And like,
Oh my god. Yeah, that like when they brought Brenner back for this last
I was
season, it
when they
made
showed him, like, oh,
I was so mad too. I was like, what the
he's
fuck?
such a
Why
good actor though. He really is.
he is a really, really good bad guy. And
Yeah.
I when they brought him back and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna train you. First off, huge Professor X vibes, but also
Yeah.
a villain. And
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, like this is gonna be good. And then as soon as he like was like, no, you can't leave, I was like, yeah, no shit.
So like I have to say it, like I
there's
am
no
so
way.
sorry, but the military storyline of this like 11 storyline, bro, I could not give less of a fuck.
Me either.
Every time they showed it, like, okay, so I was gonna say this about the Russia storyline. It was too long. Like the Russia storyline, it was too long. And I get they were trying to spread it out so that it would match the 9 episodes, but like
yeah,
it was too long. And it was like with the 11 storyline, it was like they had to add something in there to like make it a little bit longer because there's only so much you can do. And adding into this military stuff, it's supposed to raise the stakes of it all. But
I
like
will
I
say,
did not care.
I will say, 11 bringing down that chopper
That's different. That's
was
so different.
fucking
Yes.
awesome.
Insane. Love that.
So
okay, but the collar that Brenner put her into and the reunion. Like, again, I'm going to go back to my 11 and Will because I stand by them so much. The first thing he does when he hugs her is like put his hands as if he wants to take the collar off of her. Like, how can I get it off of her? It's just the little moments that I'm
yeah.
like that was one of the first things I noticed was him going like, let me get this. Like, I wish we had gotten a Jonathan and 11 hug because like Jonathan's her brother too. Like, I know that Will's the one who says it at the police station that like we're her brothers, we're family. Which again, thank you, Duffer Brothers. I needed that. I want those two. Like, here's the problem. I want those two to be the happiest they've ever been, and like that's all I need is those two to be happy. Like the rest of them can kind of fuck off for the most part. Not all of them, obviously. I love them all individually, but like they have suffered so much. I just need those two to be like the happiest they've ever been. And leading into that, the happiest 11 has ever been is with Max.
Max.
The whole speech in the piggyback thing did nothing for 11. I'm so sorry. When Mike says he loves her and he's loved her since day one, that is the biggest bullshit lie I've ever seen, because the first thing he said is, I want to send her to Penhurst. Whatever. 11 knows that. Like, she knows that
Wait,
in her heart. I know
that
she
was the
knows.
first Mike said to send her to Penhurst?
Yeah, when in season 1, when he puts her, like, when he takes her back to their like his basement, and she's, you know, in that big t-shirt that he talks about, like, from Benny's.
Yeah.
Their kids are like, okay, like, we're gonna, in the morning, I'm gonna send her up to the front door. My mom will know what to do. She'll send her to Penhurst or wherever the fuck she came from.
Oh, whoa,
and
yeah.
we're gonna go find Will. Like, the only time that Mike really starts, like, caring more about 11 as a person is when he
she can
realizes
help.
she's
Yeah.
well, she can help with Will. And he really turns it when she realizes she's in trouble and he can help her. Which, again, that's a big Mike thing, is that he needs to be needed.
Yeah. Mike is.
And 11 doesn't need him. And he even says that himself. Like, he himself in that scene in the van says, 11 doesn't need me. It was just dumb luck finding her. And that's when that's when Will gives him, because Will's not going to listen to the boy he's in love with talk bad about himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But Mike
Will.
So here's the thing.
You are
the way 11. I'm gonna do this to you. The way that 11 needs to be loved is she wants it. She just wants to be loved for who she is, and like the people who do that for her are her family. Her family loves her for who she is. Max loves her for who she is. Lucas has grown to love her for who she is. Mike loves her, but not for who she is. You know,
I feel like even
loves
Owens
her for what he views her on the pedestal. Exactly. They view her like Owens just wants to protect her.
Owens
the way that Mike wants to be loved. Okay. The way that Mike wants to be loved is he wants to be needed. He needs to be needed. He needs to protect people. And the way that Will loves Mike is because he needs him. Sorry, it needed to be said.
Oh.
It needed to be said.
Damn.
It needed to be said because Will needs Mike. He says in his whole speech that if I feel like a mistake, you're the one who, because again, everything he says in Elle's name is how he feels. If she's, you feel like a mistake when you're different, you make her feel like she's not a mistake. You make me feel like I'm not a mistake.
Oh my God.
It needed to be
said. It was so fucking
also
sad.
So somebody pointed out to me that it goes back to like the season 1 premiere, where when, it starts with the D&D game where he rolls the 7 and Lucas tells him, did Mike see it? Like, if Mike didn't see it, it didn't matter. But, Will stays behind and tells Mike it was a 7 because that sets the precedent. Their friendship of friends don't lie. They've never lied to each other. In this season, when 11's lying to Mike about her friendships and going there for parties and how she's fitting in, like, Will kind of gets sassy with her and is like, Mike doesn't deserve to be lied to. I don't think he's going to like that. When he's crying in the van, pointed out, he's not crying because Mike doesn't love him. He's crying because he had to lie to Mike, and we know he's never lied to Mike.
Oh my God. That just gave me goosebumps. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that you're turning me into a Mike apologist.
If it doesn't happen, I'm sorry, what was the point of this writing?
That's really,
because this whole writing is just showing exactly that 11 doesn't need Mike. Mike needs to be needed. Will needs Mike.
Yeah. Fuck, that's crazy.
You know what Max needs? Elle needs Max.
Yeah. Do you think
do you think Max is that
do you think Max is gonna die or live?
So I heard she was actually supposed to die in this finale. Like, she was supposed to die. I heard that was a thing. But Sadie Sink is coming back for season 5, and she's getting paid the same amount as the rest of the kids, except for, Millie, because Millie's got her own deal. If she's getting paid $7 million to lay in that comatose hospital bed, good for fucking Sadie Sink. Good for her. She's a star. She deserves it. But, like, oh my God. I don't know. So I don't know, because I do have, unfortunately, I said this before, how I said I just want Will and Elle to live and be happy. I think one of them's dying.
Will or Mike? Or Will or Elle?
No, Will or Elle. Yeah. It really, I don't want it to happen, but considering 11 was supposed to die at the end of season 1, and they've said they're going back to season like how they started. They're going back full circle.
And is
they're
season
going back
5
full circle.
like
I'm a little
end?
End for sure. Yeah, it's done. I'm a little afraid because here's the thing. I don't think Hopper's gonna die because he's already died. You know who's definitely dying? Steve. And we'll get there. Steve is 100% dying, and I'm not ready for it, and I will not be okay with it.
Yeah,
but
Steve gave his Bob. Steve gave his Bob speech in the RV.
He gave his speech,
and when he said that, I was like, no,
he's
Steve,
done.
Don't
he's
do
done.
it.
He's done. I'm actually like a little bit worried. I had a breakthrough last night, and I fear Steve may die in the season 5 opening.
Really?
I'll get to it, but I just want to like very quickly go back to whatever the fuck I was saying. I fear they will not be happy, and I'm so scared that 11 will die because if season 1 was supposed to end with her dying, I fear that the whole thing will be that she dies here, and I will never recover if she dies personally. But
I feel like I could see her dying
to get her powers back, and the scene where Max, is dying, and the scene where Max dies. Max dies. We know that.
Yeah.
She
canonically
dies. And the way that 11 screamed, like she literally screamed for Max. Like,
flipping
okay, so you get the Lucas. It's right here. You get Lucas like begging her to stay, screaming, and then yelling for Erica to help, which was Caleb improv. So that hurts even more. And then you get Elle screaming for Max. That destroyed me. But then just the no, you're not going. And then brings her back to life. And like the things that kept 11 pushing were not going back to Mike. Were not Mike's speech. It was Max is dying. I have to help Max because she loves her so goddamn much. They are so important to me. Luna is sneezing so much. I cannot. I'm sorry. But like, I'm so sorry. They are so important. I love them so much. They're just best friends who needed each other, and they needed each other. And it sucks because like, I totally get why Joyce up and moved the whole family. I totally get it. Yeah. But if she hadn't up and moved the family, they would have been together. 11 never would have gotten bullied, and Max would have had her best friend with her.
Yeah. The whole.
It made me so bad.
The whole thing would have. Oh my God. Yeah. The more I think about honestly both of their situations. Yeah. And think about season 3.
They needed each other because, and again, we talked about it last season, which they only had so little time of being like, they were best friends for like a week.
Yeah.
Like a week. But they are so important to each other. And like, this Max is the first person that told 11 to be herself and like loved her that way.
Yeah.
Like she really is. Like, she is the first person that had no expectations of her and just said, do what you want. And like that, it becomes like the precedent for like how relationships should be for 11, because a lot of people still view Max as like someone who like corrupted 11, but it's like, no, like she's a 13-year-old girl. She needs to not be doing what every male figure tells her to do in her life.
She needs to be her own person.
They love each other so much.
Oh my God. And ends the episode in tears.
I can do it. I've had a bad week.
Oh my God. Okay, so we've talked California Crew.
Stranger Things. Oh, it won't show you.
Oh my God, I see it.
It's the one with the stuff on the back.
Oh, the one that has the
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I like
the
that.
Collage.
I did like that one. Okay, so we've talked California Crew. We've talked 11.
Yep, we're good there.
We've talked adults.
Yep. I just realized what we didn't talk about. What? It kind of goes with the Hawkins storyline. The Upside Down is stuck on the day Will went missing. I didn't know if that was Hawkins group or Will group. Because it's Hawkins group that figures it out.
I think Hawkins
group. But it's based on...
But that was confusing to me.
So that's something that's supposed to come up for season 5 is... Because when Vecna... Because it kind of goes in the 11 storyline too, because it's Vecna's storyline. But when Vecna shows his flashback, and he's in the Upside Down when he gets sent there, it's like a wasteland. Like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So how did it become Hawkins?
That's okay.
Theory is that it was Will, because Will has like, does Will have powers? Because in season 1, he's controlling the lights, and he's controlling them in a way that's very similar to how we see kids in the lab doing it, where they're going around in the circle in the light. He's following
Yeah.
the crystal.
Oh
There's
shit.
no way he was running around touching particles like that. He's following the letter board that Joyce put up. And but again, if it's stuck on the day he went missing, that letter board was never there. How did he see
Yeah.
it? Plus, he made a portal. He almost got through his house's wall.
Was that him?
Does Will have powers?
Or is that a
No, that was
Demogorgon?
Will. No, it was Will. Will was the one whose face was in the wall, and Joyce was screaming at him.
Oh, the face. I'm
hide.
thinking the hand that
Yeah.
went through, but that was the Demogorgon.
Yeah, no, he had to hide because the Demogorgon was coming. But the
Crazy.
Hawkins is stuck on the day.
Does Will have powers?
There's theories that Will created the Hawkins version of the Upside Down, because we see the Upside Down as Vecna saw it, which was nothing, right? There was nothing. He found the mist. He was just there. But then when Will got there, it became Hawkins.
But Vecna was in Hawkins.
I mean, he could have
as a kid. Like
he was, but when he was there, it wasn't like that. They show in his flashback, it's not Hawkins. He's in like a fucking like empty land.
Yeah, but so I'm wondering if when he was there, when Elle sent him there, if he like recreated Hawkins.
It's possible that he recreated Hawkins, or people have theorized that when Will got there, he was so scared that he just wanted to go home and wished to go home. And maybe he made it look like Hawkins, because he hides in Castle Byers, which how the fuck, like, why would Vector know about Castle Byers?
Yeah.
Enough to make it. I could see Vector making his house.
Yeah.
But why would he make like all these houses and update them and then have them stay? Because when Will went there, it was his house. It was his room. It was his Castle Byers as he left it.
Because Vecna got put into the Upside Down at the lab. So the lab there was nothing. But that's out in the woods. Yeah.
It was out in the woods. So then it's like, okay, so did Will create the Upside Down? If he did, how the fuck did that happen? Who knows? I don't know that he's got powers, but I'm just saying the way that the lights were flickering, when you look back at it, so what they had, who was it, like 2 or someone was moving the lights with his mind in like a circle.
Yeah.
Will did that with Holly. He did that when Karen came over to visit, like Holly was walking around, which that's another thing I have is Mike in the Upside Down. Like Nancy has been in the Upside Down. Holly has personally witnessed the lights. She saw the Demogorgon in the wall, and she saw the Mind Flayer. Mike is the one who's in the Wheelers. He's the least amount of Upside Down experience. Mike's getting taken into the Upside Down season 5. That's my theory.
Oh shit!
Mike's going in.
It's gonna kick us out, but we're coming back for the finale of season 4. The Hawkins Hellfire Crew.
The scariest one.
We're gonna get it in one.
Okay.